I wanna send a wave. Morning, everybody. Or morning if you are here. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really great, and I hope that we are in day 11. So I'm hoping that somehow you've come to terms with your reality, because it's time. Really, time does teach us a thing or two. So I hope that you are a little more accepting of where we are. And that this will pass. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough, It was a deep, deep gray and wet Saturday. Then yesterday the sun came out, and today it's a beautiful day. So yeah, this just shows that we are going to go through this. But I must say, people are very tempted to get in their cars, and some have already been doing that, to get in their cars and drive somewhere, to the supermarket maybe. Please don't do that if you have food. Only do it if you really need food, because you are just exposing yourself and many others to the coronavirus. So, rather stay at home really if you don't need food. It's I don't think it's worth the risk. And the problem with this virus is that, you can be asymptomatic. So you may feel perfectly fine and not know that you actually have the virus. So unless you've been screened and tested, actually, because screening, they just check that you don't have a fever and stuff. But at least that was my screening. They just checked I didn't have a fever, I didn't travel. But, unless you have been tested, you can't really assume that you're not carrying the virus. So stay at home. I know it's frustrating, but just try and protect yourself. Only go out if you really, really need essentials. Anyway, no wine is being sold, so I don't know why you're even bothering to go anywhere. As I sip on my champagne, cheers. I know it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So let's see who has some questions for me, and tell me what you've been up to. I actually had a wonderful weekend. It's funny how my mind just switches to weekend mode, and literally I shut down everything. I was just at home cooking and just rolling around with the family. And came today, I started my day at 8 o'clock with a conference call, because we are managing we are managing through the crisis. So I have to work. And I've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed conversations with people. I've enjoyed your DMs, some of your DMs around how you're coping and what you're doing differently. I still say, but let's find that one crazy thing that we enjoy doing and just keep going with that, because we need some sanity, right? So fire away. I'm waiting for some questions. I see. Oh, thank you. So tell me what you've been up to, and let me pick a question. Let me answer a question. I've had, some seriously distressed people also chat to me. I really hope that nobody loses hope this time around. What's this question? How do I remain calm during this time? Well, I think first of all, going crazy is not gonna change the situation. There's no solution in that. But I just find the things that I really actually enjoy doing that bring me some normality, and I rest assured in the fact that it is going to pass. And listen, I've been through many difficulties in my life. I have fought through some of the worst times as a child, so I was just always fighting to get over a hurdle. I was always pushing through against all odds. So for me, I think my mental strength above everything else is what I treasure. So I just tell myself that it will pass, because I know it will pass. It might take a while, but it will definitely pass. And I said this, even in my book, Baked in Pain, that, when I was going through those very difficult times as a child, the one thing I always knew is that time is going to pass and I will grow up and I'll be an adult and I'll choose, what I do with my life. So yeah, I think find the things that really make you feel good. I've found that getting out of pajamas is really good now at this time, because you know I think pajamas just drag you down and they give your mind this false sense of reality. So get out of those pajamas, make up your bed. We take for granted these things, right? But no housekeepers means we must make up our beds, we must clean the house, tidy up, and do all these things that, ordinarily we're out there running around trying to make a living and pay people. But we are now faced with the fact that we're not so important after all. It's wonderful. So yeah, I say just find every little bit of something that will keep you going, that keeps you motivated. But just remember, it will pass. Really, it will pass. It might be really difficult, and I'm not taking that away. I think that it's a time that is going to definitely pass. So I see some people that I must add to the video. I don't know how to do that. Okay, you'd like me to load more videos on my YouTube. You're really inspiring to us. Oh, thank you very much. I suck at this stuff. There are things I'm really good at, but this I'm not so great at. But I'm doing my best, and I'm gonna load more. Okay, thank you. How do I stay motivated? You struggle at times to get out of bed at 5 a.m. Why do you need to get out of bed at 5 a.m.? Sorry, I'm just wondering, why are you going to gym? Or at this time right now, I don't know why you would get up at 5 a.m. I don't get up at 5 a.m. But I think, listen, you need to understand what is it that you're trying to achieve with your life, and what does getting up at 5 a.m. going to do for you? I mean, I read a lot of books that say, the 5 a.m. club, and you all know about these 5 a.m. clubs. I'm not a 5 a.m. club, absolutely not. And I do things according to my own rules and what works for me. So just understand why you need to get up at 5 a.m. If it's something that's so important to you and that's going to dramatically change your life, then you need to be focused on what the goal is and go for that. Has there been a time when I ethically failed? No. And I would like you to maybe tell me more about that question, but I definitely cannot think of any time where I've ethically failed, because first of all, ethics and integrity for me are at the top of everything I do. So I always want to do things that can stand up to public scrutiny, and I mean, especially if I'm talking to about business and how I treat people. So ethics are everything. So I absolutely have never acted unethically. Do you have mentees? If so, how can I be one? Ooh, I have so many of them. I've actually had to back off from that for a while, because at some point I was counting 35, and I cannot be effective at those numbers because it's a huge investment. But also, I mean, again, I said this the last time. What is it that you would want to get from a mentor? What are you trying to achieve? Where are you stuck? Because mentors are not going to tell you how to live your life. They're just going to help you unlock where you are stuck. They're not going to give you a manual on how to live your life. And I think sometimes, we think that we need a mentor when you can just get on the internet and do some research for a particular topic or whatever the topic is. Would I consider posting a daily live video as a motivator, perhaps? Oh, I've already done like 3 of these in like a week and a half. So let me think about it. How do you know that you're in the right path, that you're making the right decisions that are leading to your destiny? So you just have to do it and go with your gut feel and get a sense of it. But firstly, be very clear about what the vision is, because everything you're doing should be aligning to your vision. Yes, baby, you can have it. It should be aligning to your vision. you shouldn't be doing things that are not enabling your vision. But you have to be clear about what that vision is. And your gut is always going to direct you. Your gut is always going to tell you. Your gut is going to tell you you're on the right track or not. The problem is we don't listen. I'm a spiritual person, so I really believe that God speaks to us through our gut. It doesn't matter what God you believe in. And I think that a lot of us know that many times we didn't listen to our gut. The consequences weren't exactly great. Do I take on mentees in other countries? You are from Namibia. Listen, I'm very happy to help people, get unstuck. I can do that digitally. I can do it on email. But I think that the point I've made is that I don't have capacity as much as I would like, but I still do mentor an insane amount of people. But I also don't like formal mentorship type. I'm not great with admin. So, I like things that just go with the flow and not too structured, because that way I can be at my best. But the people that I mentor, I expect them to be structured, because it's their life. They're trying to achieve something, and I'm just there to guide them and help them. Do I have a contingency plan for the 18th of April? What's happening on the 18th of April? Oh, lockdown ends. But I never have a contingency plan. I just live in the moment and make the most of it. We are fortunate in business that we can work from home, and that our clients, are also working from home. So we've got some kind of alignment with them. I've got enough wine, so and enough champagne. We've got food, but my husband is the one that goes out to the supermarkets when we need to. And the kids are only going back to school on the 20th of April. I'm quite chilled about the situation. Well, it will be what it will be. I cannot control it, so why waste my energy on worrying about what happens? We'll see. I'm just going to do my best to save lives or protect lives, as well as protect mine and my family. Living our lives by design gives a sense of purpose and direction. Has each step in your career trajectory been planned to a T? No, not at all. But I've just gone with my gut in everything I do. Okay, let me answer this one. How do you write a strategy? What should be on the document? That you can Google. That's easy. So I've never had to... The only thing I've ever planned meticulously in my life was my vision and what I wanted for my life, and seriously, dude, my son has started again, it's just an understanding where I'm going with my life, and I've been very happy to take multiple detours to get to where I'm going, as long as it's aligning to what my vision for my life is. And by the way, you grow into your purpose. So people talk about, I haven't figured out all my purposes. That's okay. Just be deliberate about it and work out what is it that you are here for. What is your why? And how do you live your life ensuring that you are aligning to that? 18th April branch at Signature. Yeah, branch at Signature was postponed. I communicated to the people that gave us their details and also posted on my social media platforms. So that's not carrying on. Hasn't been since the shutdown. We made that decision. I need to learn how to practice social distancing from the fridge. This is particularly hard when you're at home. What do you do to stay healthy and make sure you're not binge eating? I generally just eat to survive, to be honest. I'm not a big, eater. So for me, food is a form of nutrition. And I try to eat as healthy as I can. The only time I don't eat healthy is when I'm in the office and we have chicken licking hot wings. Can you give an example of a case where... Oh, sorry, I missed that one. Yes, 18th April was supposed to be the branch at Signature. That was moved, postponed. I personally emailed everyone that bought tickets and also posted on my social platforms. Yes, detours are more than allowed. Please allow yourself to take detours to get to your dreams, because The minute you are too structured and you lose sight of the element, of the essence of your life. I think you must enjoy your life. That's the point of having such a rigid life that you miss out on the lessons. So that's been my journey. I've just gone everywhere, but I didn't lose sight of what I was trying to achieve ultimately. What was that big vision for my life? And I've also walked away from things that did not help my life at all. Any cash flow generating ideas for young corporate professionals during lockdown? Oh no, sorry, I don't have answers for you. I think you should actually think about, I can't give you ideas. You must think about, what do you believe to be, where's the need, and what solution are you providing, and how are you going to do that? What values am I committed to? Respect, honesty, integrity, ethics, and just, living life according to my own rules. Making sure that I can teach my children that they're enough just as they are. So for me, those are big values, and also making a significant difference and transforming people's lives where I can. So for me, that's why I'm so big in my charity work, that I do nonprofit work, also the work that I do through leadership. I've got a company called Leadership Development Strategies. I do a lot of work through that. And just make sure that, I leave people better than I found them. Some people, of course, not everyone. I'm having a conversation with Great Joy Ndlovu, a fine artist, tomorrow at 7 p.m. on the reality for artists and can they adapt. Please listen if you have time. Okay, 7 o'clock tomorrow. I'll be busy with supper, so I won't be able to tune in, but thanks, I'll keep it in mind. What would you personally be willing to give up in order to achieve equality? Oh, I don't know what equality means in this context. We did receive your communication regarding that. Thank you. I like that, because I'm also at the point where I'm juggling a lot of things in the process of reaching where I want to be ultimately. Yeah, it's okay. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. I think, to be honest, we get so obsessed with this great sense of achievement that we lose sight of who we are, and we lose sight of where we want to go, and I also think you end up competing a lot with others. I say just stay in your lane and just have clarity of vision. Just be clear, what is that big dream about your life, and make sure that everything you're doing every single day is enabling that. But don't be so obsessive about it that you miss out on the opportunity of actually enjoying. I say, for me, life is the ride. There's no destination. It's just one long journey until I'm dead, and God knows what I'll be up to when I'm dead. Humility is biggest of your values. Thank you. That's just who I am, yeah. As a young woman in a business space, what challenges have you had to conquer with a smiling face? Ooh, lots of them. Thanks, young woman. I do still feel young, even though, when they talk about youth, I no longer qualify. I haven't qualified in a long time. But I've always been in business since I was 23. Even now, in business, you're constantly facing challenges, some of which you would never have anticipated, and they actually have absolutely nothing to do with you. But you're just caught up in a situation, in a setting, in a landscape. So doing business in South Africa is significantly interesting, but this is home for me, so I wouldn't want to do business anywhere else. But it's understanding what your strengths are, what you bring to the table, and be willing to be resolute about your standpoint. I think people, have been taught to listen to others' opinions. The problem is you listen to the wrong people's opinions. And choose who you want to listen to. But above everything else, trust your gut, because that's never going to throw you off. What's my take on impartation in terms of skills transfer and mentoring? Yeah, I believe in mentoring. Sorry, you might have missed that answer. Skills transfer, we live in a country where we have to upskill people and give them new skills. So I really do believe in that. Even as consulting organizations, we go into businesses, and we end up staying there forever. But actually, what we want is to transfer that skill and make sure that we've educated people on that particular skill set and move on, to the next things. But it's not that easy, but we must transfer skills in whatever shape or form. We must teach people how to be self-sufficient. We must teach young people how to be entrepreneurs. Thank you. You listened to my podcast with Marnus. You must listen to that, actually. I think it's great content. I miss you too, Ryan. Guys, Ryan Weber was my personal trainer. He would come to my house for many years. When we were building, I was like, I need to finish building, and exercise is not what I feel like doing now. He is brutal. I miss you too, my friend. But that was like a long time ago. Now I have to do it all myself. It's so hard. Waiting for my second book. Yeah, I'm working on a few books, but to be honest, I'm not an author. It's not a profession. I just had a story to tell. But now I have to tell I'm working on a few things, so let's just say that. Don't hold me to it. I'll see what I feel like. Thank you. I motivate you a lot. What would you improve in education, secondary school education, to be precise? So, I definitely think our schooling system needs to move on with the times. Not just private schools, even public schools. I remember my husband and I took our kids to public schools initially because we really believed that there was, good education, and we didn't have a problem with it. We all grew up under, some kind of public education system, and I think we've turned out all right. But the problem is that they don't teach the skills that they don't educate for the now. They're still stuck in good old days. And I don't mean to be controversial here at all, but what is the point of children studying Afrikaans today? And why can't it be an elective subject? Why can't it be, if English is the medium that we've all agreed to, why can't the next thing be either Zulu, Xhosa? We have 11 languages in this country, and they're official. So that for me just, to be honest, doesn't make sense. So I do think that they need to start be teaching children from primary and secondary for the future that we are creating for them, or the future to prepare them for the future that they're living in. So more technology, more entrepreneurship. What were your biggest challenges you faced when you ventured into business? You're always going to have a challenge with finding clients. That's the biggest thing. I mean, I jumped without a single client, but I knew I was going to make it. I guess I'm just that self-confident. I had lots of belief, but I also had a lot of credibility to go with, and strong relationships. So I didn't doubt that I was going to make it. But you're always going to have, you need that first client. That's the one thing you need, and you need money to service them. How do you personally see business sector after COVID? It's going to struggle. Many are not going to survive. But there's going to be lots of opportunity to do things differently, so that, I see this as we are going into a new future. And if you're not prepared for that future, and if you're not willing to actually change and adapt to that future, you are not going to survive. So sadly, lots of businesses are not going to survive, and lots of jobs are not going to be around, and because the economy is not growing. This hasn't helped at all, and neither has their downgrades. So, it's going to be really tough, but we must be willing to rebuild, guys. Is there specific software that you use for project management? We use multiple different software, multiple different methodologies. We are agnostic, so we go to different clients, we use what they've got. What's your take on Sandton-based businesses and poverty in Alexander Township? How could business assist in eradicating poverty in Alex? Wow, you guys came guns blazing today as I sip on something else. So I don't necessarily think the poverty issue in this country is, I don't think we should reduce it down to Alex and Sentin. And I don't think, because Alex is in close proximity with Sentin businesses, therefore Sentin businesses must do something for Alex. First and foremost, things are always going to get changed by the people in that society. So I think that, a big business in South Africa generally does play and can play a bigger role in eradicating poverty. But so can government, but so can individuals like you and I. And so can, small businesses, so can medium-sized businesses. So eradicating poverty is not a one-sided discussion. It's an incredibly complicated one. I really, somebody asked me, what would I give up, for equality? I do every day. I give up a lot so that others can have. So an example in my business, I've got times when I don't pay myself an increase or a bonus. I'd rather give it to my staff, or I don't pay myself dividends for 6 years because I'd rather give bonuses to the staff. So that's the beauty of also being in your own business. You can make those decisions, but you don't always have that if you're in other businesses that belong to other people, or you've got shareholders and et cetera, partners. So poverty is not a one-sided, or eradicating poverty is not a one-sided issue, or there isn't just one solution to it. We all have to play our part. But if even the people that are in those situations also have to bootstrap their lives and dig deep and find something. I've come from that, so I can say that boldly. I've come from living in shacks for many years, Mshenguville, Orange Farm, you name it. And today, I can say I'm here because I really, really focused on what I wanted to do with my life, and I went out there and I worked for it. And people can read my book about that. You're on fire. I love this engagement. Thank you. There's some questions that go past. I'll come back to them. Being in project management means you take on new projects. Being in project management, how do you assess which projects to take and which one to let go, and how do you plan with your team to keep them motivated? Well, listen, we have specific clients, so most of our clients are financial institutions, so all of the banking sector, insurance companies, life, you name it, medical aid. So projects that we take are predetermined in terms of what our skills are and what we bring to the table. But the larger strategic conversations around our business is which sectors are we willing to go to and which sectors are we not willing to go to. And for me, I always work out what the risk is versus reward. And I like to get paid so that I can pay people, keep life simple. So that's how we decide what projects to take on. But within our existing clients, that's always about, our skill set and also our experience and where we can add value. But I'm also one of those people, I don't just grab any opportunity that comes, because that's how sometimes you tarnish your reputation because you're just trying to make money. For me, it's not money at all costs, at all. Integrity is everything. How do you introduce the topic of saving money to your children? I think it's one skills our kids need to learn at a very young age. We've been teaching our children that since they were young. First of all, they have bank accounts, so they have savings accounts. And we put money in their savings account every month, but they earn it via their chores, doing well at school, whatever you decide is important for you. And, when they need to buy maybe a gift for a friend, their birthday, or they need to buy their own supplies, maybe stationery or something, we take them to the shops and we actually go to the ATM and we say, okay, you withdraw 500 rands, and then we go to the shops and I teach them this is, the more you only have 500 rands in your hand. So the more you spend it, the less you have in your hand. So you decide how you're going to spend this. It's very rudimentary, but it's a great lesson because I shop, and I will not lie. I'm one of those. But I wait for the sales, then I go back wild. But I have a daughter she walks into a shop, and I see myself in her. And I'm like, oh, okay, we need to teach this one how to spend money. And she's the one that always has the less money. But yeah, they also need to understand, the whole conversation around compound interest, and not spending more than what you have. The lessons that we never had growing up. I mean, no one ever taught me about money. I had to learn and make my own mistakes. Can I make this session every Monday? Okay, I think I could do that. Okay, let's see what other question. Somebody had asked how do you stay healthy? I think you just have to be conscious of what you put in your mouth, really. As I always say, I'd rather drink my calories. So, you do what feels right with you, but I'd rather drink my calories, so I eat less. But I love good food. I love cooking, and I cook and bake more for my family than I do for myself, Recently started an HR consulting company. It's always been a vision, so I left corporate. This live is very informative. Oh, thank you. Well done on taking the leap. Go for it and keep pushing. There is nothing better, to be honest. But you're going to have to go through the tough times too. Get boxed a bit and learn a few things. Cry multiple times, but you'll get on the other side. And if you've got a strong proposition and strong relationships and just make sure everybody knows what you do. And be good at it, because I've come across so many people that, you give an opportunity to and they stuff it up royally, and you just think, oh my gosh, this opportunity could be so great for somebody else. So I say in whatever we do, be it a corporate job or business, you must take that opportunity and assume that it's not going to come again. Many people in life don't get second chances. And that's also how I built myself up. I just always figured when I had an opportunity in my hand, I had to be absolutely clear about what I was trying to achieve with it and do my best. Did I strive for perfection? Maybe when I was younger, I confused perfection and excellence. And the older I grew, the more I understood myself and understood, what I'm trying to achieve, the less I focused on being perfect, but more on showing up well and doing things excellently and making sure that when I walk away, I've left a lasting impression so that I can be called again, So really don't take for granted that client that you have, no matter how small they are. They might turn out to be your next biggest client, and I've had that in my entire life, in my career. So yeah, it's just striving for excellence in everything you do. And just don't be complacent. This is one of the reasons most businesses don't survive. It's beyond the cash flow. It's because people get so complacent and they think that, you got a contract for R1 million, now you're rich and, you shouldn't care for your clients or deliver. So you must deliver. Keep your promises and deliver. What advice can you give for us when we go back to work after 21 days as now we're at home and not in a social environment? Well, I don't know if you need advice, but if you're probably a reserved person, this time for you might be really great because you want to keep to yourself, But the truth of the matter is, I think after this, we're all going to really appreciate the human interaction and that physical engagement and physical connectedness. There's nothing that beats walking over and talking to a colleague and laughing about a joke or sharing a disappointment or how frustrating a certain client is, So I think that just take it easy when you go back to work. I would personally say that we probably, I anticipate that we're going to have to still have some restrictions. So as we do with the normal flu, if someone is sick, let them stay away from you. I know we always joke about it in the corporate world, but how true is it right now, So just take it easy when you get back to work, especially if you're not that social butterfly and, you want to still keep to yourself. Let people know that you really would like some bubble around you for a while. And there's nothing wrong with that. People must respect that. I want to take the PM accreditation exams. What advice can you give me on how to tackle? Oh, by the way, exams, PM accreditation, yeah, that's very difficult. You just have to study for it. You must spend the time, study, do those past exam papers and things, just do it like any other exam, prepare and get on with it. No one will ever take it away from you. That's the nice thing. But you have to earn it back, depending on which one you're doing, every 3 years, I think, depending on which one you're doing. And just on that question about going back to work, I mean, I hope that, people are staying intellectually challenged somehow, because when you go back, you don't want to feel like your brain is porridge. So, yeah, do something. Get off Netflix. Oh, yeah. What has been your biggest failure and what did you learn from it? So in my book, I write about a business that I had in Cape Town. There was a franchise business. For me, that was the biggest failure. But I didn't fail. The business failed. So I'm very clear about that. That wasn't a personal. I've never failed as a person. I don't think I'll ever fail because of my outlook on life and my approach to things. A business failed. And I lost a lot of money. That was a difficult time, a very difficult time, first year of our marriage. So have I had disappointments? Of course. Have I let myself down? Have I done things that I think, oh my gosh, really, man, they shouldn't have done that? Of course. And do I feel like a failure when I do that? No. I will never feel like a failure. I've worked way too hard to come down on myself like that. And a mistake doesn't make me a failure. Things around us fail, yes, but me as a person, never. Disengagement is everything. Thank you. Listen, the lessons you learn from a failed business is what to do differently next time. To be a little more. Sometimes it's about timing. Sometimes you don't know what you're doing. And a person like me is always looking for opportunity. But opportunity that will allow me to create jobs. So sometimes my heart goes first before my brain follows. And when you're in business over time, you learn that actually have a balance, and align, and have the two aligned. That is, how many books do I read per month? Sometimes I don't even read. What am I currently reading, and how do I pick the books? I pick a book depending on what I feel like. But I am not a person that pressures myself on or read 5 books a day. If you haven't noticed by now, I don't subscribe to popular hashtags and beliefs. I only do what feels right with me. So I'll pick a book. If it's about business, I'll take a business book, depending on what I'm looking for. But it doesn't always have to be a physical book. It can be online reading. I read articles on LinkedIn, articles on Harvard Business Review. It depends on what I'm looking for. Sometimes I'll pick up a Robin Sharma book or a Book of Joy by the Dalai Lama or and Desmond, Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Or I'll pick up anything. Depends on what I feel like. I don't really subscribe to popular beliefs. Besides you and your family, what holds you accountable? With credibility comes accountability. So besides me and my family, who holds me accountable? Well, everybody holds me accountable. In every role where I'm a leader, I am held accountable. But I never want people to feel like they have to do that job by themselves, because I hold myself accountable. And so in my business, I lead a business. I've got clients. I lead a business that services clients. I've got businesses that service multiple different clients. So I always have to be thinking about, what are the consequences of my action. So I don't actually want to agree that with credibility comes accountability. No, accountability is there with or without credibility. We all have to be accountable for our actions. And credibility for me, when I mentioned it in starting my business, it is what I had delivered already. It's the fact that I was in corporate for 13 years and people had come to learn of me. I was a corporate executive. I started my career as a project administrator intern in corporate. So that's really, what I meant. Good morning, Amanda from the UK. Hello, Lady T, baby. You're such an thank you. Do you have any monitor events for young women, or can you suggest any events for young women? There's so many events. Lord, it's a minefield. So I wouldn't even know where to start. Maybe you can send me a DM and say what you're looking for, or just do some research on the media platforms and some internet, and follow some people. They do amazing things. Please come to Namibia for an empowering conference type situation. Yeah. I'm hoping. Someone has been trying to invite me to Namibia, so let's see. Let's see after the lockdown. But yeah, I definitely look forward to it. Much love from Dubai. Hello. As I sip something. Sorry, if those who don't drink, I apologize if you're offended. I apologize for you, though, not for me. But whatever you have in hand, cheers. Have I experienced the imposter syndrome? No, never. I do sometimes find myself in situations where I'm pinching myself. So I have more pinch myself moment, or moments when I'm like, wow, Amanda, look where you've come from. And look where you are now. And I am my biggest fan. I just, if you haven't noticed, because nobody will ever appreciate your journey better than you. So no, I've never felt like I'm gate crashing any party. I feel like, I'm so fortunate for the opportunity and to be where I am. And yeah, how do you plan your time to be fully present at work and at home? So I don't waste my time with anything. I only do things with my time that give me joy and add value to my life and those around me that matter to me. So chances of you finding me loitering around somewhere are very slim. If I'm there, I'm with my team, or there's a reason for it, and I'm very protective of the time I spend with my family. So for me, one of the things I've learned over time is the value of time. For every hour I spend doing nonsensical things is an hour I could have been spending with my children. And for me, I really value time, and I give my time to things that matter to me. And I balance it by making sure that I don't waste it, and I learned to say no, and I say no a lot. It's the standard response. Because people are always going to want to take from you. They're always going to want to drain. And there's nothing wrong with that if you've got something to offer. But you need to understand that, you can't always be giving and giving. You need to retract and give to yourself as well as your family. So my family is the most important unit in my life, as well as my work and my charity work. So I do things that really have more meaning for me, because time is money, people. I'm still very grateful for our chat 2 years ago in your office. Oh, hi. Hey, Babalo. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm coming to Namibia. Yes, with great pleasure, Rose. We must stay chatting. Yeah, great inspiration. 3 books that changed my life. 3 books that changed my life. Gosh, there's so many books. It's impossible to remember all of them. But there's one that it's actually, I write about it in my book. Actually, you cannot give what you do not have. It's actually in my office. I just forgot the name, and that was life changing for me. And it talks about also sitting in your pain and understanding, where you've come from. And confronting your pain, before you can actually move on. So I'm a big believer in that. So reading that book for me was just affirmation of what I already knew. And I've had so many books that have been Robin Sharma's books. I must say, in my early life, in my late 20s, were quite significantly impactful. And yeah, but I read a lot of books. There are many impactful books. Will there be more availability for your branch event? I must say, I get asked about this quite a lot. We'll see when we reopen, Rick, and we'll see if we can make more room. Yeah. I can't promise yet, but stay glued to my screen, as they say. Sometimes graduates miss out on the opportunity to get internships for a specific field. Is volunteering an option, and is it doable as a company to assist? You know, I don't think that, it's there's no hard and fast rule about internships. You can do internships in any industry. It is doable. We've got we've had interns that come through, but we work through a company called Dynamic DNA for our interns. And we get interns from them, but they train them. So then we take them and give them work experience and expose them to our clients, sometimes depending on which field they've come into, or which line of business. And also we absorb some of them and we keep them and make sure that, we can help them with their studies going forward. But, there are those that also don't make it through the program because they just don't fit into what we're looking for. So there are internships available, but I think it helps to go via an organization rather than direct, unless it's a family member or somebody like that. And of course, companies do assist. I mean, we work with clients where we say, listen, this is a graduate or this is an intern, and we just want to give them experience, and they are more than willing, as long as we will manage them and they won't manage them. So. And having interns and graduates is a huge overhead on the company, because you don't make money from their services, depending, of course, on what you're doing. And for 12 months, you can be assured that you are investing into them. But it's the right thing to do. I mean, there's no question about that. But I think there are many opportunities. How do you overcome being stuck in a rut? Oh, a rut is a bad place. And rat rhymes with rat. It's not a place you want to be. Sorry, I think it's. I think we are all susceptible to rat. So a lot of us get bored. A lot of us feel stuck. But again, I say, you need to be clear about what you're trying to achieve with your life. What do you want? What's your vision? Because. I see a rut as actually an opportunity to move your life to the next level. So, but you must understand that you are stuck in a rut. And a lot of people that get stuck, so I think a lot of us fall into a rut or find ourselves in a rut, but getting out and how quickly you get out of it differs from person to person. I have a between 3 and 4 year threshold for anything. I must say though, my marriage, no. 13 years and it's still good. But for work purposes and businesses, for my 3 to 4 years, I start getting so bored. And so I'm constantly reinventing myself. That's why I do quite a lot of things that are meaningful to me. So, sitting on boards just intellectually stimulates me, and I operate at such a high level. Being in my business, I'm able to create jobs and service our clients, and and being a mom, and my book work and my charity work, and all of those things for me contribute to staying ahead of myself, actually. So you need to get yourself out of a rut. Just remember the things that when your life felt really good, what were you doing then? When your life felt really good, what were you doing? And do that again. Hi, Banel. It's amazing. Thank you for this. What values do you not compromise on when building a team or hiring a new person in your company? I definitely don't compromise on. I know if I want to work with a person in like the first 3 minutes of talking to them, it's about the attitude, it's about the energy, it's about the vibe, because technical skills can be taught, but you can't teach a person how to have that hustling mentality and how to be looking forward to the opportunity, to interact with people. I don't compromise in my teams, and they all know nobody is bigger than the other. No one is the most important. Even people that report to me directly are not more important than the people that report to them directly, or to me for that matter. So I'm a big team person. And if you think you're going to show off your team member by doing certain things, or your conduct not becoming of a team member, I really don't mind and dealing with that severely. So I don't compromise on that. And I never want people to be disrespected because they're not in a certain category of level in an organization. And for me, that is something very important. I take that very seriously. And if you can't be part of a team, if you cannot help a struggling team member and you think that you should be shining over them, you don't belong in my company. And what advice can you give in a question on growing a business in a highly monopolized industry? Oh, well, I think we all work in highly monopolized industries. Tell me an industry that's not. I think, listen, I'm happy to help you with that offline as well. But I think you employ any business growth strategies as you would, ordinarily. But understand what is your niche. What are you offering that is different to the ones that are already offering it? I went into a consulting space where there were big consulting firms, and there I was thinking, I'm going to make a difference and build a successful business. And guess what I did? But I was clear about where I was going to play and what it is that I was offering there. So I definitely think you should think about that and make sure that you deliver. That one piece of work you get is you deliver on it, because then your clients will tell others about you. But also, if you don't deliver, they'll do the same. So careful which side you're at. My dream is to sit on boards, and one day I will. Absolutely. Work for it, work towards that. And if that's your dream, go for it. Just make sure you build up that credibility within where you are and be clear about what it is that you bring into the board, because most of the boards, you get invited to sit on boards, or an agency has those search firms have got a role, but they're quite specific about what they're looking for, because it often has to be complementing what's already on the board or something that they don't already have, or so you must be clear about what you are bringing to the table and what you'll add. Boards are no longer this way now. Oh, sorry, I got paused there for a moment. And then boards are no longer a social ticket. There was a time when people just sat on boards purely by their name. Now it's what are you giving? What are you bringing to the table? And lots of responsibilities and personal liabilities. So yeah. What's your advice on implementing the vision, especially in a highly competitive industry? What vision? Sorry. I'm not sure what vision you're talking about. Can you elaborate, Banzi Bonga? Just elaborate on your question. Let me see. A request to be in my live video. Let me see if I can add people to this thing. Go live with Gooksy. Oh no, I think I mustn't try things I haven't done before, so I'll try again another time. So I'm probably going to have to end this very shortly. I've been at it now for almost an hour. Hey, wow, that's pretty cool. What time? Oh yeah, I've got a few more minutes, then it's an hour. So yeah. I think though, if I'm preempting this question, I'll say that, I'm yet to come across an industry that's not competitive. Even jobs are competitive. So you have to be thinking about what is it that makes you so special? What are you bringing to the table that is significantly different from what others are doing? Now, it might not be a new thing, or that you've come up with a new offering or new service or new product, or but it's about what are you going to do differently? Why should clients be buying your service or your offering or your product? So that for me is very important. And again, even if you do get that opportunity, you have got to represent yourself and represent yourself well. So be well articulated on what it is that you're doing as a business. And also, when you do get that opportunity, absolutely deliver on it. Don't think that, people and clients are going to constantly be buying from you, even though you keep, missing your deliverables or not keeping a professional conduct and delivering to what you had said you would deliver or what is expected. That's a sure way to kill business. And these are basic things. It's not like others do it differently. Yeah, you need the money to run a business, so you need the cash flow. So you need to be thinking about, where is the next business coming from? Where is the next money coming from, so that you keep going? But that opportunity that you have, make sure that you and your people deliver on it as expected and own up to your mistakes if you've made them. And I don't think that's different whether it's a competitive environment or not. You have got to be. Everything is competitive. Every industry is competitive. Don't be fooled by thinking there's one that's not. Hey, and I'm 32, working as a chief legal officer at a telecoms company. Yay! I thought of you last year when I was offered a seat on our board. Oh, well. You paved the way for us. I'm forever grateful. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. That's really sweet. Keep going. I'm actually inspiring to become a chief operations officer, busy working on my blueprint. One key thing I'm learning is not to associate myself with things or individuals that are not part of my map to my calling. Yes, absolutely. And it's okay. You can be called names. You can be called arrogant. You can be called whatever. Don't take part in things that are not serving you well. Otherwise, you just drain your energies and you waste your time. And also remember the people around you and the things you should really be thinking, I want to be surrounded by people who help me build myself up, who give me the energy, who offer the same levels of, encouragement. One of the biggest ways and sure ways to drag ourselves down is to surround ourselves with negative people, even family. Family, they're the worst. So you must be clear. I know you can't always run away from them, but find some mental strength of how to deal with them. It keeps pausing, but we've got great Wi-Fi in this house, unkept 100 meg line, you name it. IT people. Maybe it's just overloaded the optic fiber with all the people working, but I'm going to have to say goodbye shortly. So it was great to have you. Geez, those questions, you guys didn't complain today. I love it though. I love it because if we can just keep elevating the conversations and our engagement, it's a good thing. It really is. I am incredibly fortunate that today none of you asked me about lipstick or clothes. This was a good one. But those things also matter, I guess, to some people. But I'm just not the person for them. But I'm polite enough to answer most questions. So let's see what we do again another time. I might do another one of these if you keep bringing it like this. I think I'm also gonna keep coming. Did I tackle the question on monopoly? Yeah, I did, definitely. I'll save this and maybe I'll just repost it or something. I need to learn how to do that. But I did that question around monopoly, succeeding in a monopolized environment industry. I take it as the same as succeeding in a competitive industry. Thank you. I owe you coffee from I never promise people coffees. I owe you coffee. Maybe you wanted to buy me coffee. I don't make promises that I know I can't keep. You're a designer, may you dress me. Thanks. I get a lot of that, I must say, but I never really know what it means. But anyway, I'll save the live. I promise I'll save the live. Like that, touch on negative energy. My husband seems to be always frustrated with my family. Okay, shame. No, but remember, when you come from a certain family and how you were raised or brought up, you might be so blinded to your own family's issues. But I can't really answer. I guess it was just a statement from you. Shame, lovey. Family dramas. Anyway, thanks guys for joining. I will save the chat now that I actually know how to do it now. So thank God. And then I'll repost it and hopefully it will add value to you and you can share it as well. Feel free to. So I'm gonna say goodbye now. Cheers, guys, and thanks for joining in. I have to figure out how do I end